Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are here with Austin from Ohio, and today is Sunday, July 11th, 2021. The last you heard from me, I was complaining about a video of mine that got taken down off my backup channel from a month ago, and I am saddened to report that the appeal that I submitted was denied as expected. So, I tried. What can I say? But, yep, they took that one down from a month ago, and I was very, very upset about that, which sucks. I don't even know what I said in there that could have been. And I put a disclaimer and everything. You guys saw it. I explained that in the appeal. I wrote like a whole page, like an entire page of reasons why the video should not have been taken down, but they were still just like, whatever, we're taking it down because you can't go against what we're saying, blah, 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 whatever. It is what it is. That's life now, unfortunately. It just is what it is. And we can only react and adapt to what they're doing. So, yeah, there's that. It is a very rainy day here in East Central Ohio, and today, actually, they're calling for these really bad storms. We usually don't get tornadic weather here, but they're saying that we are at risk of tornadoes, which, if that's the case, and there's a tornado in less than 50 miles from me, I'm going to see it. I've told you guys before about my lifelong dream to lay my own eyes, on a tornado once in my life. So, yep, if that's the case and one comes out of nowhere, I'll probably live stream that so you guys can watch me be a moron and drive into a tornado. Probably not the smartest thing I would ever do, but it's worth it to me, honestly. It's worth it. All right, let's jump in. I brought this up the other day, just like, to show that this is what they're doing with the door-to-door push for the what's it called. But Tim just texted me. Tim, if you're watching this, sorry, bud. I'm making a video right now, and I will get back to you as soon as... Well, actually, I'm an idiot. If you're watching this, I probably already texted you back. Okay, but I brought this up again because it's very, very important, and it goes with a couple other articles that I have. So, this is New York Times. Biden calls for door-to-door push. Experts say more is needed. Oh, yeah, experts said, right? Because we're just ruled by the experts now. The experts are our legislators. So, some public health experts worry that the administration is not being aggressive enough in waging what the president calls a wartime effort to blank the country. Somebody told me I should use the word mark, which is good. It's actually very good. I'm pretty sure it was Kimmy. Thank you. I will try. We'll see if they'll take it down. I'll say that. So, yeah. So apparently the president is not being, quote, aggressive enough in waging a wartime effort to mark the country. Do you guys understand what time it is? Do you fully grasp what is going on here? You need to understand. I mean, you guys do. I'm not talking to you guys that are my regular listeners because you know how I feel. I know how you feel. We're all in this, the same boat. I'm talking about the people that may have stumbled across this video. Do you know what is going on and what is about to be implemented not only in this country but around the world? They're talking about war on the people of any country. It doesn't get more plain than this. You got the President of the United States waging a wartime effort to mark the country. Why is nobody freaking out about this? Why can they put this on the mainstream and people are just like, well, it's a good idea? That reminds me of the passports. You know, the one passports, not the ones you get to fly across the pond or whatever. No. The passports. In 2019, I was telling people about that. And I was like, look, this is coming. This is happening. We're going to be going into it. Oh, no, that would never happen. That's not real life. Oh, you're crazy. And then literally the very next year, they're like, they skipped over the, oh, it is real. And they went straight to, it's a good idea. So they went from not real, would never happen, you're crazy, to, oh, yeah, this is a very good idea. I'm sorry, but if you are one of those people, I'm not even going to apologize. You are a moron. You're a moron. That's all that I can say about that. That's literally it. So, let's continue. Okay, so Washington, of course. Faced with a steep decline in mark rates, President Biden said on Tuesday that his administration would send people door to door, set up clinics at workplaces, and urge employers to offer paid time off as part of a renewed push to reach tens of millions of unmarked Americans. But top health experts say that it's simply not enough, and the president needs to take the potentially unpopular step of encouraging states, employers, and colleges and universities to require marks to slow the spread of the situation. I'm still going to say that. Okay, so in 2 paragraphs already. Illegal, treason. I'll say it a million times. That's what this is. Treason. There you go. Employers, colleges, universities to require. Do you know? Oh, I'm not even gonna. Okay. Instead, in a speech on Tuesday, Mr. Biden doubled down on coaxing people to get marked, a voluntary approach that appears to have hit its limit for a large number of Americans who say they have no intention of taking the mark. Oh, look how that worked out. Please get marked now. It works. It's free, Mr. Biden said in brief remarks at the White House. Quote, it's never been easier and it's never been more important. Do it now for yourself and the people you care about, for your neighborhood, for your country. It sounds corny, but it's a patriotic thing to do. Oh, yes, the most patriotic thing you can do is to go and whatever. No, the most American thing you could do is tell these people to fuck off. Real quick. Whatever. Sorry about my French. I need to try to quit doing that. I need to try to quit having those outbursts. Case numbers have gone up in parts of the country where mark rates remain low, fueled by the highly contagious Delta variant. That is, some public health officials worried that the administration is not being aggressive enough in waging, the wartime effort to ensure the population of the United States is protected. Oh yeah, that's what they're doing, right? Right? Get out of here. Quote, I'm trying to restrain myself, but I've kind of had it, said Kathleen Sebelius, who was the health secretary for 5 years under President Barack Obama. Schools and businesses should be encouraged to require the mark, she said. Quote, we're going to tiptoe around mandates, she said. It's like, come on, I'm kind of over that. I want to make sure that people I deal with don't have it so I don't transmit to my granddaughter. Oh yeah, pull on your heartstrings a little bit. Where is the evidence to support this? Because I'm looking around and I just see, everybody living life. I don't see thousands of people just dead in the street. I've not seen one person dead in the street. That's beside the point. But Mr. Biden's options to be more aggressive are limited. As president, he can mandate the members of the military get the mark, a step that his administration has declined to take, in part because the drugs are still considered experimental under the emergency authorizations that the Food and Drug Administration granted last year. Yeah, because they are, and they don't want to put this kind of, I gotta watch what I'm saying about that on here, because I'm already suspended for a week on my backup channel, and I don't want that to happen here. The Biden administration considered and rejected calls to require a federal passport, A move that Frank, thank you. A move that some experts said would help contain the spread of the situation by allowing people to prove that they had been inoculated. And the administration last month issued guidance to federal agencies saying they should not require employees to be marked. For the most part, the power lies in the hands of states, employers, or private institutions. No, it does not, actually, but that's beside the point as well. Dr. Ezekiel J. Emanuel, a professor of bioethics and health policy at the University of Pennsylvania, said the United States was unlikely to make significant strides in its mark campaign without mandates. Quote, I'd like to say a mandate is legal, ethical, and efficacious, he said. Ultimately, workplaces are probably going to have to. First of all, a mandate is not legal, ethical, or efficacious. Not at all. And workplaces aren't going to do that because they're going to lose a lot of employees, and it's already very hard for places to even get people to work for them. But they know all this. This is hand in hand with the economic collapse. They know that if workplaces mandate whatever, that people are going to quit. Therefore, if people aren't working at certain places or any place, then, businesses start to fail, snowball effect, all of that crap. So, in his speech, Mr. Biden said his administration was not giving up on persuading people that Mark was in their best interests, in the interest of the country. But he made no mention of the need for states, private companies, schools, and other institutions to begin requiring people who are reluctant to get marked. Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, acknowledged in comments to reporters on Tuesday that some companies, schools, and other institutions were beginning to require marks. But she said the administration had no intention of encouraging them to do so. Yeah, they always play this. Good cop, bad cop. They always play this. Oh, that's on your employer. The government has no interest in any of this. And if you remember correctly, the government comes out and they say, oh, this is what you should do, but we're not gonna mandate that you should, but then businesses put the policies in effect anyway. This whole time, ever since this crap started, that's the way it has worked. The government doesn't need to do anything at all. Nothing at all. This is how fascism works. The government gets to pretend like the good guys, sit back and say, hey, we didn't tell anybody to do. We told them not to, actually. It's literally the easiest thing in the world, and people are so blind. B-L-I-N-D, blind. We're going to leave it up to them to make these decisions, Ms. Psaki said. But others say the administration could be more aggressive. Lawrence Augustin, a professor of global health law at Georgetown University, said even though the federal government's authority to enact mandates was limited, the Biden administration still had considerable power to recommend them. It can provide more funding for proof of mark systems and create incentives for colleges, universities, organizations to require that a mark be offered. Mandates have been very successful in the United States and globally, even in politically difficult situations, because they make becoming marked the default, Mr. Gostin said. We have to make being unmarked the hard choice, not the easy one. We knew that this was coming. We knew that all of this was coming. And this actually is where I don't want to keep reading this article because it's going to take up a lot of time. But this actually goes hand in hand with the next one that I'm about to show you guys, which is going to be popping up right about now. And here we are at Fox News. CNN medical analyst suggests life needs to be hard for unmarked Americans. Okay, so they obviously put their 2 cents in, these, quote, medical analysts, and they're saying now that it needs to be hard for this to happen. It needs to be hard for unmarked people to go through their daily lives, right? When urged President Biden to get behind mark credentialing. Oh, there we go. We knew all this was coming too. We had so much time to get prepared for this. So much time. CNN medical contributor Dr. Leanna Wen suggested Saturday that life needs to be hard for Americans who have not received a mark, and individuals who refuse to get marked should perhaps face weekly testings. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. What about that line many of us drew in the sand? No test, no shot. That's my line. I ain't taking no test. Why? Why is this even being talked about? You see what silence does? Silence of the people. You see what this does? How dangerous it is to remain silent? What do you think all throughout history people have wrote on the dangers of this type of thing? Oh, man. Anyway, quote, it needs to be hard for people to remain unmarked. This person's the former Planned Parenthood president. Ooh, of course. And who is involved in Planned Parenthood? Oh, yes, that's right. I won't say his name, but somebody that has been behind this the whole time. Right now, it's kind of the opposite. Unmarked people, she fretted, can at the moment go about their lives as normal without any consequence. Yeah, it's called freedom. Freedom of choice. Whatever happened to my body, my choice? Whatever happened to any of this? They literally unraveled the very fabric of this country in less than 1 year. Less than. This was already all set up under the Trump administration. This was all set up and ready to go, ready to implement without any dissent or people going against it at all. Because if you do, what happens? Oh, you're a QAnon, Trump-supporting, white supremacist, domestic terrorist who needs to get taken out because this and that, and you believe in these crazy conspiracy theories. That's where the stupid QAnon military psychological operation comes in that people are still falling for this long later, even though we told them 5 years ago that it was bullshit. I'm getting very aggravated. What are we even to do at this point? Honestly. And everybody should be making videos. Please start making videos if you can. It's so easy to download a recording app and to just read articles. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. And if you do that, and I go and check out your videos, and I see that you're spreading out this information, I will promote you on my channel. Then it's all smooth sailing, and then I could talk to Tim, and I'm sure he will be very happy to promote people who are out there doing what we're doing, trying to get moving. At some point in time, somebody has to step up and be a leader. Somebody has to put their foot down. Draw the line in the sand for not just themselves, but a lot of people. All right, let's continue. Quote, but at some point, these mandates by workplaces, by schools, I think it will be important to say, hey, you can opt out, but if you want to opt out, you have to sign these forms. You have to get twice weekly testing, when said. Basically, we need to make getting marked the easy choice. Yeah. It also says that in the Bible about taking the mark of the beast. That will be the easy choice. It's hard to do what we're doing. It is going to be very, very hard to go about your daily life in this new world order. The CDC struck a difficult but overall correct balance. We need to get our kids all back in-person instruction in the fall and mitigation measures to help us do so safely. Indoor masking and weekly testing for the unmarked are key, along with improved ventilation, when added on Twitter. Oh, yes. The CDC announced on Friday that in-person schooling is a priority this fall, with the caveat that masks should be worn indoors by children aged 2 and older who are not fully marked. Yeah, you know why they want to get the kids back in? It's obvious. Propaganda. There's a lot of pop-ups here. As always, if my recording app fails, I will make a part 2 because I'm pretty far in. Biden administration recently said it's considering a door-to-door push when argued on CNN there was a mistake for the White House to not back some kind of credentialing. Okay, Wen's comments piggyback off an op-ed she wrote in the Washington Post urging President Biden to mandate marks nationally and scolding him for not more aggressively using his platform. She argued the White House Independence Day event would have been a perfect opportunity to share that message. Yeah, perfect opportunity on Independence Day, and we're supposed to be celebrating freedom in order to, ensure freedom for our posterity and just people that are still alive today. Independence Day would have been a perfect opportunity to come down on everybody with totalitarian control measures. These people aren't even hiding their moves anymore. I know we said that in the past, and it was true up to a point, because they still kind of hid certain things. But no, they're literally not even hiding anything. I would not be surprised if they came on tomorrow on the news and said, hey, we're bringing down this one world government. You're all going to live under it, and you're going to have to get in line or get taken out. And people would be like, well, that's a good idea because we need one government. There'll be no more war. And everything that they have been working toward for a long time would have been realized. The population now is perfect, primed, ready to go. Ready to accept the new world order as they told us so long ago that we would. And like I said before, I used to sit there and think, how are people going to get behind this? There's no way they're going to be able to get all these people to accept this form of control. But then, well, we're seeing it real time. Quote, the celebration could have been a chance to slow that mark isn't just... I said slow. Show. Let me try again. Quote, the celebration could have been a chance to show that mark isn't just an individual decision, but one that affects the health of others, including those already marked. Yeah, so if you're already marked, guess what? It don't matter, because they're still gonna... whatever. And this person said, I do think it's time to start mandating marks, Reiner told Aaron Burnett. And I think that private industry and private organizations will do that. Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. It is now time for them to do that because we're ready. The people are ready to accept it and to shame everybody who don't. But enough of that talk for now because this video is already probably going to get taken down. Moving on. Actually, I wanted to bring this one up. Sorry. So not moving on from this yet. I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to put this video up. Probably shouldn't. White House calling out critics of door-to-door push. Oh, yes. Quote, a disservice to the country. Inaccurate disinformation. Literally killing people. Yeah, that's what's happening. Right? It's literally so opposite. As the Bible says, up is down, down is up, good is evil. It's literally what it is now. Terrifying. Can't believe it. For months, the Biden White House refrained from criticizing Republican officials who played down the importance of situation marks or sought to make political hay of the federal government's all-out effort to drive marks into arms, not any longer. And you see how they're still using Hegelian dialectic tactics, right? Because obviously, if you go against them, you're, well, one of those people. Which is not the case at all in our case, because we see through that. But for the average sheep out there, they can't get out of that. They think you have to be one or the other. You can't see it for what it is. You have to either be one or the other. With the situation mark rate, plateauing across the country, the White House is returning fire at those they see as spreading harmful misinformation or fear about the marks. When South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster tried this week to block door-to-door efforts to drive up the mark rates in his state, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki did not mince words in her reaction. Quote, "The failure to provide accurate public health information, including the efficacy of marks and the accessibility of them, people across this country, including South Carolina, is literally killing people. So maybe they should consider that," she said Friday. Oh, well, I would say to Miss Psaki, show me where. Show me where. In reality, I don't want to see it on a piece of paper. I want to see it with my own eyes. Take me somewhere to where I can see this for myself. They'll probably just throw me out and say that I'm whatever, but that's cool. I won't read too much of this because, of course, I don't want to get this taken down. While 67% of American adults have gotten at least one, officials are increasingly worried about the vast geographic disparity in mark rates, and the emergence of what some experts warned could be two dramatically different realities for the country in the coming months. High mark uptake and lower caseloads in more democratic-leaning parts of the country, and fresh hotspots in the development of dangerous variants in more GOP-leaning areas. Okay. Again, Hegelian dialectic, whatever. I will now move on from this because I just wanted to bring this up again to show that they're really trying. They really need people to get this thing. They really do. They really, really, really do. Let's move on. All right, here we are over at NBC News. And, of course, this is going to keep going on until the big one. So we literally have so much going on at one time. Not even funny. Quote, barely able to keep up. America's cyber warriors are spread thin by attacks. A once quiet epidemic, ransomware has emerged in 2021 as a major national security issue. I wonder how that happened. Charles Carmichael has a problem. Ransomware has become so prolific that he has too much business. Quote, we're getting calls from organizations almost every single day. Carmichael, I think that's how you say it. I think it's just a different way. Carmichael, we'll say that. The chief technology officer of the cybersecurity giant Mandiant said in a phone call, we're barely able to keep up. And that was before cybersecurity professionals had to deal with one of the most pervasive ransomware attacks ever. The hack of the software company Kazia, which allowed one ransomware group to infect more than 1,500 organizations last weekend. The cybersecurity industry is stretched thin. Ransomware attacks are now so prolific that some companies simply cannot help every newly hacked victim get back online. And a shortage of workers means no immediate help in sight. Quote, I feel bad, but we turn down a lot of organizations because we don't have the capacity to help them, Carmichael said. A once quiet epidemic, ransomware, in which hackers often from Russia or other former Soviet bloc countries break into private computer systems to encrypt and often steal files to hold for ransom, has emerged in 2021 as a major national security issue. In recent months, ransomware gangs have launched several high-profile attacks, including on a major pipeline and meat supplier, and frequently hampered schools and hospitals. Ransomware cost American victims an estimated $1.4 billion last year. Okay, wait a minute. So far, the ransomware attacks have been on pipeline. That goes hand in hand with Agenda 21, 2030. Meat supplier, that definitely goes hand in hand with Agenda 21, 2030. Schools and hospitals also goes hand in hand with Agenda 21, 2030. You see where they're going with this? You see the agenda literally just right in front of you, in front of all of us, and they're literally parading it in our face. The pace of attacks is relentless, leading to renewed efforts from President Joe Biden to deliver a message to Putin that they're unacceptable. In mid-June, Biden met with Russian leader Vladimir Putin to discuss the issue, stressing how much ransomware emanates from Russia, where the criminals behind it seem to operate with impunity. Over the following 2 weeks, confirmed ransomware attacks briefly went down to just over 100 publicly confirmed cases, said Alan Liska, analyst at the cybersecurity company Recorded Future. Most victims were American. When the ransomware exploded again, one of the most prolific ransomware gangs, are evil. There's that boogeyman again, of course. Conducted its boldest attacks yet over the 4th of July weekend on Casia, which services customers who in turn contract with thousands of businesses. Though the dust has yet to settle, researchers say the hack allowed our evil to infect more than 1,500 different organizations. The gang seems to have bitten off more than it can chew and has asked for a $70 million lump sum to unlock all infected computers. They're going to keep going with this, guys. Until we lose power, I don't know. We were promised a dark winter, so nobody can tell. Nobody knows exactly when, but we can see the signs. We can spread awareness, and we can even get them to stop and, delay their agendas. It's been done before. But like I said, we need everybody on this. The time for just sitting around doing nothing, waiting for somebody else to take control and somebody else to do something is long gone. The time to watch videos or even make videos, what I'm doing, is long gone. Long gone. Something else is at play, and it's very concerning to say the least. Moving on. All right, let's check this one out. This was on July 10th. All these stupid pop-ups. Please don't ruin my recording app. I will make a part 2 if it messes up. I really hope it doesn't, though. I'm trying to make sure this is all good. CyberPolygon 2021. Okay, get out of here. Towards secure development of digital ecosystems. Oh, yes. This is what they have to say about it, by the way. Cybersecurity is one of the most important topics on the global agenda, boosted by the situation. As the global digitalization is further accelerating, the world is becoming ever more interconnected. As planned, digital ecosystems are being created all around us. Countries, corporations, and individuals are taking advantage of the rapid spread of the internet and smart devices. In this context, a single vulnerable link is enough to bring down the entire system, just like the domino effect. As intended, it was built like that for that reason, to where you could undermine one link and it'll bring down the entire thing. Literally the point. How do you think they're going to bring in their new system? Huh? Remember the old saying, out with the old, in with the new? Here we are, guys. Here we are. I didn't think that I'd make it this far into this new world, honestly. I'm being dead serious. Any day could be my last. On June 9th, 2021, the 3rd annual international online training event CyberPolygon took place. It connects various global organizations to train their competencies, exchange best practices, and bring tangible results to the world community. 200 organizations from 48 countries tested their skills in repelling cyber threats as part of CyberPolygon 2021. I've had people tell me, actually just yesterday, people tell me like, oh, Austin, CyberPolygon came and went and nothing happened. Okay, and if I was reporting and making videos in October of 2019 when Event 201 happened, would you have come to me a day later and said, oh, Event 201 went off without a hitch and nothing happened? Yeah, you probably would have said that to me, and then guess what? And you know who you are. And guess what? 3 months later, it happened. Same as this. Not sure if it'll be 3 months. Not sure if it'll be 3 weeks, 3 days, or, well, we can't say 3 years. They're not going to wait that long. But this is one of their weird tabletop exercises where something will come of it. They're building up for it right now, and anybody with a brain, you don't even need a brain. You don't even need a good working brain. Like I said before, you can explain it to a monkey, and they would get it. But, okay. Exchange best practices and bring tangible results to the world community. 200 organizations from 48 countries tested their skills in repelling cyber threats as part of Cyber Polygon 2021. Cyber Polygon is an initiative by strategic digital risk management company Bizone, part of SPARE's ecosystem, with support from the World Economic Forum, Center for Cybersecurity, and Interpol. Oh, yes. The training event consists of 2 parallel tracks, an online conference for a wide audience and a practical segment for cybersecurity experts. 200 organizations took part in the technical training event, including major financial and technological companies and representatives of public institutions, law enforcement agencies, telecommunications and energy organizations, and a variety of other sectors. The teams learn how to deflect targeted supply chain attacks within a corporate ecosystem. The high-level expert discussion during the online conference in different cybersecurity aspects involved Steve Wozniak, Apple co-founder, Jürgen Stock, Secretary General of Interpol, Roger Halbier, Chief Security Advisor, Microsoft, Peter Moore, President, International Community of the Red Cross, Mark Barnett, President of MasterCard Europe, Matthew Dill, Global Head of Strategic Partnerships and Ventures, Senior Vice President, Visa, and other international speakers. Over 7 million viewers from 78 countries joined the online broadcast of expert sessions. They just named all these people up here that have some real power. People that we don't even know what they look like unless you look them up. Yeah, these are the, leaders of the corporate world, the corporatocracy. I wonder if I can invent a word. Corpotechnocracy. Corporations and technocratic takeover. Whatever you can call this, it's like all in one. Literally is all in one. And of course they have to, even a direct line with astronauts who are now on the International Space Station was organized, during which they unveiled the most vulnerable data from the ISS is protected with encryption and cannot be decrypted during transfer even if tapped. Sure. Technological innovations continue to define the business development directions, relations between people and sometimes even countries. Government and business create ecosystems which are networks of companies and various services, growing bigger and wider. Ecosystems may become more vulnerable. How to ensure the sustainability, there's that word, and safe evolution of corporate ecosystems. Spare's CEO, Herman Greff, spoke about this at the dedicated session, Ecosystems as a New Way of Global Integration, with Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak. Yeah. A new way of global integration, as in they found their avenue for their new world order and how to get it. Speakers discussed how Apple developed, what obstacles and risks ecosystems face today, and what role technology and education play in the development of the digital world. During the session dedicated to developing international response to combating ransomware, Craig Jones, cybercrime director at Interpol, stated the international regulation at this stage is not enough for the cybercrime level. According to him, the popularity of cryptocurrencies has led to the spread of ransomware. Therefore, cryptocurrencies need to be brought into the broad international financial structure to reduce the number of safe havens for cyber criminals. In layman's terms, what they're saying is that cryptocurrencies need to be brought under international government control, world government control. And it's not to reduce the number of, quote, safe havens for cyber criminals. No, those are just the, like Al-Qaeda was, the boogeyman and all that. Yeah. The cryptocurrencies topic was raised not only once during the event. There was a special session dedicated to making the financial system resilient as digital currencies proliferate, with the participation of Mark Barnett, President of MasterCard Europe, Matthew Dill, Global Head of Strategic Partnerships and Ventures, Senior Vice President Visa, and Alexei Zabokhtin, Deputy Governor of the Bank of Russia. The experts agreed that the financial industry is always among the first to embrace innovations and is necessary to estimate the possible risk of new technology in addition to their advantages. The final session of the Cyber Polygon 2021 was a dialogue between Stanislav Kuznetsov, Deputy Chairman of the Executive Board of SPARE, and UNICEF Executive Director Henrietta H. Fore about the problem of cyberbullying and protecting children from the threats of the digital world. Yeah, that's really what they care about. They always bring the children into it, right? Same thing as like gun control. Oh, we gotta save the children. The children need to be... It's not about that. And we already read this part up top. So, yeah. I guess we just have to wait. We're just gonna have to wait and see exactly what's gonna come of all this, right? Let's move on. Okay, of course I wanted to bring this one up. This one is about close to a year old, but not yet. But it's very important. Very, very important. Okay. From 9/11 to the Great Reset by Pepe Escobar with permission from the author and first posted at Asia Times. 9/11 was the foundation stone of a new millennium, ever as such indecipherable as the mysteries of Eleusis. A year ago on Asia Times, once again I raised a number of questions that still find no answer. A lightning speed breakdown of the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune trespassing these 2 decades will certainly include the following: the end of history, the short unipolar moment, the Pentagon's long war, Homeland Security, Patriot Act, shock and awe, tragedy, debacle in Iraq, 2008 financial crisis, Arab Spring, color revolutions, leading from behind, humanitarian imperialism, Syria as the ultimate proxy war, the ISIS-Daesh farce, the JCPOA, Maiden, age of psyops, age of the algorithm, age of the 0.0001%. Once again, we're deep in Yeats territory. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. All along the war on terror, the actual decantation of the long war proceeded unabated, killing Muslim multitudes and displacing at least 37 million people. World War II-derived geopolitics is over. Cold War 2.0 is in effect. It started as U.S. against Russia, morphed into U.S. against China, and now fully spelled out in the U.S. national security strategy with bipartisan... I can't even speak today. Bipartisan support. It's the U.S. against both. The ultimate Mackinder-Brzezinski nightmare at the hand. The much-dread peer competitor in Eurasia slouched toward the Beltway to be born in a form of Russia-China strategic partnership. Something's got to give, and then, out of the blue, it did. A drive-by design toward ironclad concentration of power and geoeconomic diktats was first conceptualized. Under the deceptive cover of sustainable development, already in 2015 at the UN. Now, this new operating system, or technocratic digital dystopia, is finally being codified, packaged, and sold since midsummer via a lavish, concerted propaganda campaign. Yes. So far, so good. Excuse me. The whole plain lockdown hysteria that elevated situation to postmodern Black Plague proportions has been consistently debunked. For instance, here and here, which are these links. Drawing from the highly respected original Cambridge source. The de facto controlled demolition of large swaths of the global economy allowed corporate and vulture capitalism worldwide to rake untold profits out of the destruction of collapsed businesses. And all that proceeded with widespread public acceptance, an astonishing process of voluntary servitude. That's the perfect word for it too, right guys? Voluntary servitude. None of it is accidental. As an example, over then, years ago, even before setting up a privatized behavioral insights team, the British government was very much interested in influencing behavior in collaboration with the London School of Economics and Imperial College. Now they use social media and all of that. The end result was the Mind Space report. That was all about behavioral science influencing policymaking and, most of all, imposing neo-Orwellian population control. Mind Space crucially featured close collaboration between Imperial College and the Santa Monica-based RAND Corporation. Translation: the authors of these absurdly flawed computer models that fed plain lockdown paranoia, working in conjunction with the top Pentagon-linked think tank. In Mindspace, we find that behavioral approaches embody a line of thinking that moves from the idea of an autonomous individual making rational decisions to a situated decision maker, much of whose behavior is automatic and influenced by their choice environment. So the key question is, who decides what the choice environment, or who decides what is the choice environment? As it stands, our whole environment is conditioned by the situation. Well, they say let's call it that, but I'm going to call it the situation for obvious reasons. And that's more than enough to beautifully set up the cure, which is the Great Reset. Okay, the Great Reset was officially launched in early June last year by the World Economic Forum. Natural habitat of Davos man, its conceptual base is something the WEF describes as strategic intelligence platform, a dynamic system of contextual intelligence that enables users to trace relationships and interdependencies between issues, supporting more informed decision making. It's this platform that promotes the complex crossover and interpenetration of situation. In the Fourth Industrial Revolution, conceptualized back in December 2015 in the WEF's choice futuristic scenario, one cannot exist without the other. That is meant to imprint in the collective unconscious, at least in the West, that only the WEF-sanctioned stakeholder approach is capable of solving the situation. Yeah, no one else can solve it, right, guys? Right? Whatever. The Great Reset is immensely ambitious, spanning over 50 fields of knowledge and practice. It interconnects everything from economy recovery recommendations to sustainable business models, from restoration of the environment to redesign of social contracts. The beating heart of this matrix is what else? The Strategic Intelligence Platform, encompassing literally everything: sustainable development, global governance, capital markets, climate change, biodiversity, human rights, gender parity, LGBTI, systematic racism, international trade and investment, the wobbly future of travel and tourism industries, food, air pollution, digital identity, blockchain, 5G, robotics, artificial intelligence, AI. It's literally all encompassed in this reset. All of it, everything that we've seen. There's not one thing that is left out. People need to understand what time it is. In the end, only an all-in-one plan A applies for making these systems interact seamlessly. The Great Reset, shorthand for New World Order, that has always been glowingly evoked but never implemented. There is no plan B. The situation, legacy. The two main actors behind the Great Reset are Klaus Schwab, WEF's founder and executive chairman, and IMF managing director Kristalina Georgieva. Georgieva is adamant that the digital economy is the big winner of this crisis. She believes the Great Reset must imperatively start in 2021. And so it has. The House of Windsor and the UN are prime executive co-producers. Top sponsors include BP, MasterCard, and Microsoft. It goes without saying that everyone who knows how complex geopolitical and geoeconomic decisions are taken is aware that these two main actors are just reciting a script. Call the authors the globalist elite, or, in praise of Tom Wolfe, the masters of the universe. Schwab predictably wrote the Great Reset's mini manifesto. Over a month later, he expanded on the absolute key connection, the legacy of the situation. All this has been fully fleshed in a book co-written with Thierry Malaret, who directs the World Economic Forum's Global Risk Network. Situation is described as having created a great disruptive reset of our global social and economic and political systems. Schwab spins the situation not only as fabulous opportunity, but actually as the creator of the now inevitable reset. All that happens to dovetail beautifully with Schwab's own baby, which is situation, of course. accelerated our transition to the age of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. The revolution has been extensively discussed at Davos since 2016. Funny, actually, we got all that proof of Great Reset being talked about in 2016, all this stuff, but the news is saying that, this conspiracy theory came out of nowhere with the onset of C-19, and they think that it has something to do with that. Like, no. We know that it has something to do with that, everything to do with that, because, well, they've been telling us since, more recently, 2016. The book's central thesis is that our most pressing challenges concern the environment, considered only in terms of climate change and technological developments which will allow the expansion of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. In a nutshell, the World Economic Forum is stating that corporate globalization, the hegemonic modus operandi since the 1990s, is dead. Now it's time for sustainable development, with sustainable defined by a select group of stakeholders, ideally integrated into a community of common interest, purpose, and action. Sharp Global South observers will not fail to compare the World Economic Forum's rhetoric of community common interest, Chinese community of shared interest, as applied to the Belt and Road Initiative, which is de facto continental trade development project. Great Reset presupposes that all stakeholders, as in the whole plane, must toe the line. Otherwise, Schwab stresses, we'll have more polarization, nationalism, racism, increased social unrest and conflict. So this is, once again, a you're with us or against us ultimatum. Eerily reminiscent of our old 9/11 world. Either the Great Reset is peacefully established with the whole nation dutifully obeying the new guidelines designed by a bunch of self-appointed Neoplatonic Republic sages, or it's chaos. Whether the situation, ultimate window of opportunity, presented itself as a mere coincidence or by design will always remain a very juicy question. Digital neo-feudalism. The actual face-to-face Davos meeting next year has been postponed to the summer of 2021. They did have that, actually. But virtual Davos will proceed in January. They also had that, focused on the Great Reset. And already 3 months ago, the book hinted more everyone is mired in the global paralysis, the more it's clear that things will never be allowed to return to what we considered normal. They told us that. And in 2015, which it's 6 years ago now, the UN Agenda 2030, the godfather of the Great Reset, was already insisting on marks for all, under the patronage of the WHO and CEPI, co-founded in 2016 by India, Norway, and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Timing could not be more convenient for the notorious Event 201 situation exercise in October 2019 in New York, with the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security partnering with who else? World Economic Forum, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. No in-depth criticism of Gates' motives is allowed by media gatekeepers because, after all, he finances them. What has been imposed as an ironclad consensus is that without a mark, there's no possibility of anything resembling normality. And yeah, people are still going around saying that. Oh, don't you want to go back to normal? To which I would respond, do you really think we're going back to normal? What is normal? Most people, their minds are so, what can I say? Their attention span is of a goldfish, and their short-term and long-term memories are screwed. So most people can't even remember what life was like beforehand. And that's the culmination of, years and years and years of poisoned food and whatnot. Okay, and recent astonishing paper published in Virology Journal, which also publishes Dr. Fauci's musings, unmistakably demonstrates that, don't want to say all that, because this video will get taken down, whatever. Even Schwab's book admits that the situation is one of the least deadly situations in the last 2,000 years, and its consequences will be mild compared to previous situations. Yeah, he does admit that in that book, and you know what? You know why he can say that with conviction? because it doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. What matters above all is the window of opportunity offered by situation, boosting, among other issues, the expansion of what I previously described as digital neo-feudalism, or algorithm gobbling up politics. No wonder political economic institutions from the WTO to the EU, as well as the Trilateral Commission, are already investing in rejuvenation processes, code for even more concentration of power. Very few thinkers, such as German philosopher Hartmut Rosa, see our current plight as a rare opportunity to decelerate life under turbo capitalism. As it stands, the point is not that we're facing an attack of the civilization state. The point is assertive civilization states, such as China, Russia, Iran, not submitted to the hegemon, are bent on charting quite different course. The Great Reset, for all its universalist ambitions, remains an insular Western-centric model benefiting the proverbial 1%. Ancient Greece did not see itself as Western. The Great Reset is essentially Enlightenment-derived project. Surveying the road ahead, it will certainly be crammed with imponderables. From the Fed wiring digital money directly into smartphone financial apps in the U.S. to China advancing a Eurasia-wide trade economic system side by side with the implementation of the digital yuan. The global South will be paying a lot of attention to the sharp contrast between the proposed wholesale deconstruction of the industrial economic order and the BRI project, which focuses on new financing system outside of Western monopoly and emphasizes agro-industrial growth and long-term sustainable development. The Great Reset will point to losers in terms of nations, aggregating all the ones that benefit from production and processing of energy and agriculture, from Russia, China, Canada, to Brazil, Indonesia, and large swaths of Africa. As it stands, there's only one thing we do know: the establishment at the core of a hegemon and the drooling orcs of empire would only adopt the Great Reset if it helps to postpone the decline accelerated on a fateful morning 19 years ago, which they're talking about 9/11. So, literally, there's really... Oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. It's literally just insane. All of this is just insane. And you know what? They're going to keep it going. They're going to keep going until every ounce of freedom is stolen from you and from me and from, well, the entire world, and to where they can have their ultimate authoritarian, centralized world government, which they now have. The American way and the Republic is already gone. It's already destroyed. We just haven't realized it yet. And that's a fact. That's a fact. There's still people running around thinking that everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to go back to normal. Right? Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I'm going to end this one right here. I had a couple more, but I'll just put them in the next video because I got to get some stuff done. I only have one day off, so I have to go back to work tomorrow. Like I said, if you can, download a screen recording app on your phone, or if you got a computer, there's plenty of apps on there too. Please start making videos. Even if you're just reading articles like I do for the most part now, I will promote your channel. If you send them to me and I check it out, and if it helps and you're getting good information out there and you're not, being sensationalist, or you're not putting up things that would harm the cause, I will most definitely promote your channel. And I will speak to Tim. I'm actually going to get ready to text him after I'm done with this. And I'm going to talk to him about that too, about my little thing I got going on. So keep that in mind. And of course, I'm going to make another video probably in the next 2 days or so. And the more that happens, the more I'll have to talk about. But they're going to start going door to door to administer whatever. And I really hope everybody is ready for that. Sincerely, I hope so. And people are like telling me, like, oh, just don't open your door. I could do that, but you think they're just going to go away? You can't run and hide from this stuff. Eventually, we have to face it. You can't just hide in your house and think they're going to go away, because they're not going away. If they come to your door, it's already too late. And you're either going to break or you're going to make. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going into detail about anything else. Let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.